Hi, I'm Margaret, and welcome to Garden School. Well, I was out for a walk the other day and I noticed that my neighbor's hydrangeas were looking a little bit different than mine. All of the dried flowers that had been on from the summer blooms had been on their shrub and then they were gone. So somebody picked those off and cleaned those off. Looked very nice and neat and clean, but I thought, what about my hydrangeas? Is it wise to take those dried flowers off? Does it matter? What's going to happen if I do? Well, let's take a look. So here I have a couple of mop-head hydrangeas, and you can see that they bloomed really nicely this summer and into the fall, and now it's January and I have these dried flower heads still on. Well, should I take them off? Does it matter if I take them off? Well, I want to take a closer look here at some of these stems. Now, if you look at this stem here, you'll see it looks very black right here. Down here, I see a bud. I see more bud coming there. Well, my concern is this blackened stem right here. We had some serious cold temperatures, and I'm guessing that this stem has suffered all the way down to that bud. Okay, now there are a lot of other buds on this plant, which is nice to see. But let's talk a little bit about, should we remove those dried flowers or not? Now, we have just had some really unusually cold temperatures, down into the teens for us for a number of days. That was unusual. And you could see that blackened part was due to that really cold temperature that we had. Now, if I had already removed the dried flowers down to where that bud was, this plant would have suffered more frost damage. So I would have probably lost that bud. Now these, the mop heads, they will bloom on new wood. So we want that bud to grow and develop, and that's where the flower is going to come for next spring. If it's up to me, I would say leave these dry flowers on. It adds some visual interest into your garden. You can even incorporate them in a winter bouquet if you like. So that's what I would advise on that. That's what I'm gonna do. My neighbor's plant is vigorous and hardy enough and probably protected a little bit more than mine. So we'll kind of see as next spring and summer come about. Now this hydrangea here is a Lacecap variety. You can see the two different kinds of flowers still remaining in this dry one, the larger outer flowers that are sterile, and then the inner ones that are fertile. On this one, you can see that some of them have blown off or dropped off, but again, we're going to get next year's flowers from this new wood that's going to grow here. So that's why I would advise on this one, don't do any pruning at this point. Wait until late winter, perhaps early spring, to prune, and then perhaps even to take off these dry heads. So it depends on what kind of hydrangea you have. Find out what kind you have. If it's the mop head or the Lacecap, then you'll want to refrain from doing any pruning until late winter, when you're not going to risk any frost damage, because the flowers will come on a bud from new growth on those plants. So find out what kind you have. So if you can, resist taking those dry flowers off if possible. You know, there's a lot of things we can look at in the wintertime that are unusual, but do add some texture and some interest into our wintertime garden. Well, there's always more to learn in the garden. Bye-bye.